Hi, it's Cinda and welcome to Cooking Fantasies. In today's video, we're going to be making triple chocolate mousse cake. And this amazing cake is going to consist out of chocolate sheet cake as a base, a crunchy chocolate and wafers layer, dark chocolate mousse, milk chocolate mousse, white chocolate mousse. We will cover it with a beautiful shiny chocolate ganache, and we're going to garnish it with beautiful chocolate leaves that I'm going to show you how to make, and plenty of other tips and suggestions to alternatives, so make sure to watch till the end. All the ingredients you're going to need for this recipe in both the grams and cups measurements, you're going to find it down in the description box. So let's get baking. Since we're going to build our cake upwards, we're going to start by making the base, and I used here a normal chocolate sheet cake that I've already used in another recipe. I will leave you the link here and down in the description box. Go check out this video and use the same recipe I used for this dessert base also. What you can also do, if you don't want to make this chocolate sheet cake, you can make a normal brownies. If you have already a favorite brownies recipe, it goes very nice with this whole combination. And if you want to go no bake cake, what you can also do is make a mixture of biscuits and butter as an alternative, as you would do with a cheesecake, and then you would end up with a no bake cake. And now for the second layer, it's very easy. We're gonna break down the wafers. Here I use normal wafers that I bought ready from the supermarket. You can use with butter wafers. You can go for normal crunchy, these cigars you would use to garnish your ice creams or whatever. What you can also use is crêpe dentelle, kind of crepes that you can also use in your desserts to give them some more crunchiness. And as easy as that, you're gonna melt your chocolate either in a microwave or in a bain marin, and then you're gonna add it to your wafers that you have already crushed using your fingers or whatever you prefer. And then spread it right away before the chocolate hardens. You're gonna have to spread it over the first layer and try to make it as even as possible. Use the back of a spoon to spread it perfectly and fill all the little corners. Using a piece of parchment paper makes it easier to even out your chocolate, and then place it in a cool place or in the refrigerator until we need it again. Making the dark chocolate mousse is very easy, but most importantly, we're gonna always have to start by soaking the gelatin sheets in cold water. This is very important to hydrate them for when we need them. You can skip this, but I prefer to chop my chocolate before I melt it, as I do melt it using a bain marin. This prevents it from burning. And if you melt your chocolate in a microwave, just go 1 minute at a time while giving it a quick stir in between to make sure that it doesn't overheat. And once all the chocolate is melted, heat your milk. You can also do this in a microwave. And as soon as it starts simmering, squeeze the gelatin from all the water and add it to the milk. Then give it a quick stir to make sure that it has totally melted. And while the milk and the gelatin are still hot, you're gonna start adding this milk to the melted chocolate on 3 goes. So add the first third and keep stirring until it has totally melted. You might end up with a kind of grainy or weird texture. Don't worry, just keep stirring and keep adding the other 2/3 of the milk with the gelatin, and you will end up with a more homogeneous kind of chocolatey texture. By the time you have incorporated the last bit of the gelatin milk, you will notice that the texture is much better. So leave it on the side and let's prepare our cream. Now we're gonna prepare our whipped cream. So needless to say, the cream should always be very cold and right out of the fridge. It's ready when your mixer handles leave trails. And now what we're gonna do is take your chocolate, milk and gelatin mixture and sieve them to get rid of all the particles that might have stayed, like gelatin pieces or chocolate that has not totally melted. And then we're gonna start incorporating the whipped cream into the chocolate mixture, 1 tablespoon at a time, until we have totally incorporated 3 big tablespoons. And for this, use just a spatula in a kind of circular motion. Once you have incorporated about 3 big tablespoons of cream into the chocolate, pour it all into the rest of the whipped cream and incorporate it using the exact same technique you have used to incorporate the cream into the chocolate. I used here a 23 centimeters, that's 9 inches diameter circle using this circular cake mold, as it's easier to adjust the diameter, but you can also use a normal cake tin. Now pour the mousse into the mold and try to even it out as much as possible and make sure that it reaches all the corners. Once you have spread all the mousse, give it few taps against the table to make sure that the air bubbles are removed, and then place it in the fridge to set quickly for at least 1 hour before pouring in the next mousse. And meanwhile, let's prepare it. And to make the milk chocolate mousse, it's exactly the very same procedure and steps we have used to make the dark chocolate mousse. And to repeat, you're gonna melt your chocolate either in a microwave or bain-marie. Then you're gonna have to simmer the milk. Add the soaked gelatin after you have squeezed them into the milk. Make sure they have melted. Incorporate the milk and gelatin into the chocolate, the melted chocolate, in 3 goes. Whip your cream while it's cold. Incorporate about 3 big tablespoons one at a time into the melted chocolate with the milk and the gelatin, and then pour everything together onto the rest of the whipped cream and incorporate it. And again, you would do the very same thing. Take your cake out of the fridge, pour the mousse onto the first layer of the dark chocolate. Make sure to even it out from the sides and the corner and give it a few taps against the table before placing it in the fridge for another at least 1 hour till it's totally set before adding in the third layer of the white chocolate mousse. And for the white chocolate mousse, it's again the very same procedure and the very same techniques we have used for the first and the second mousse. So just follow the very same steps and recipe using just white chocolate instead. Another option you have is to make small individual desserts instead of a big one like we did here. And with this recipe you can make 12 little individual desserts and they look just as cute. And another option that you can also do with this cake is to totally freeze it after you have added the white chocolate mousse. Freeze it preferably overnight, and then the next day pour some mirror glazing on it. And now we're going to prepare the ganache to make the nice glazing on top. For this, you're going to have to simmer your cream. You can also do this on a microwave and then pour it over the chopped chocolate. Allow it to set for a couple of minutes, then use your spatula to stir from the center outwards. And by following this technique, stirring from the center outwards without removing the spatula, we're not going to have these bubbles on the surface of our cake. Now take the cake out of the fridge, pour the glaze in and try to even it out before placing it again in the fridge. How long you're going to allow it to sit in the fridge will make a difference on how your cake will eventually look. I will explain this to you later on. And now let's prepare our beautiful chocolate leaves. So choose some leaves, whatever you like, that are quite veiny but not so thin. This will make it easier for you to work with. And then use some water and vinegar to wipe them from all the dirt or whatever they might have on them. and then use a brush to cover them with melted chocolate. Just make sure to put chocolate on the back side of the leaf. That's how you get most of the details. Also make sure that the chocolate layer is not too thin, otherwise they will be breaking when you try to peel the leaves off. You can always add some chocolate on top if you ended up with a thin layer. What you could also do is dip the leaves directly into the chocolate. Here I used mint leaves, which also look just as nice. Now if you want to achieve a look like I did with a nice dripping on the sides, you're going to allow the cake to sit for at least 45 minutes in the fridge, and as soon as you unmold it, the ganache will be dripping from the sides. Because it hasn't got yet enough time to totally set, if you allow the cake to sit in the fridge for at least 3 to 4 hours or overnight, when you unmold it, you're gonna have a nice thin layer of chocolate ganache on the top with no drippings on the side. And if you want to totally cover your cake with mirror glazing, you're gonna have to freeze it overnight, and then as soon as you take it out of the freezer, you're gonna unmold it and then pour your mirror glazing on it. Once the leaves have totally set, which they don't need much time, you're gonna peel the leaves off and decorate your cake with these beautiful chocolate leaves. But this is totally optional. It's up to you how you want to decorate your cake. This is just a suggestion and I hope you like it. As you can see, this cake looks really beautiful. It's very elegant and it does taste amazing. It's very soft, it's very cloudy and crunchy, and all the nice textures go very amazing together, and also the flavors. And I really hope that you will be trying this recipe soon. If you still have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me down below in the comment section and I will answer you. I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and see you soon with a new baking video, and happy baking!